Okay, now starting with the cap. One disadvantage about taking the piece of the chock, of course, is because I already turned the outside diameter to 30 exactly. So I had to now turn it around and do the same thing with the other end, because of course when I chock on this end, it doesn't turn through. I'm gonna check if chock is tight. Yes, it is. Let's start turning. Should have 3 now. I mean half, 1.5. Yes. Should be close to 30 now. This should be the finished size. In 2 passes, let's see. 100 over, that's pretty good. With 2 passes. Okay, now let's do... it's gonna be this way. So first I'm gonna machine this diameter of 20 millimeters and 5 millimeters long. And then just, I think I'm gonna do these chamfers on the lathe and then just saw it off again. Because I still cannot find my parting tool. Listening to Rammstein now. And all this is played from Spotify. So I hope I'm not gonna get any copyright issues. I'm not trying to make money or anything with the music, I just want to listen to it myself and play you some good music also. Maybe you might actually buy some of this music if you like it. Okay, let's go. 1.5. This is 1. 140 should be 10 hundredths oversize. Double check. Yes. 1400s to go. Should still be a couple hundreds over. 300s over. Just testing if the part is hot. It really isn't. Should be 100 over now. Yes, let's take very light pass. should be pretty much right on the money now. 1 or 2 hundredths under. $97. It's 300 under, but it's still within tolerance. Let's see how the bearing fits. If I can find it. I seem to have a tendency to lose anything and everything. Perfect. Awesome. I'm gonna leave it as it is. Perfect. Now I think a little bit of chamfering. And now it's time to saw off, but I'm gonna do a little bit of a trick before that. I'm gonna use a 60-degree threading tool to do a chamfer. There we go. Time to go to the saw. And let me show you a little bit of my sawing setup. The piece is so short that it needs to be supported. The jaw needs to be supported on the backside, because the center of the jaw that does the pressing is at this bolt, so the piece has to be longer. It has to be so long that it reaches the middle of this part. And now it certainly isn't, but I'm just using a piece that I found on the other side, so that's gonna do the same thing. And also because the end diameter is smaller than the center, I had to put something that I found, which happens to be a 14mm wrench under the end to support it. And this is how I'm gonna get it sawed. Okay, I now have the shaft centered on a chuck on my milling machine, centered to the spindle within around 300, which is a little over 1/1000 of an inch. Okay, now I'm gonna put on my quick change tools. By the way, I made a little shelf like this. I need to make another too. I have too many tools for this one shelf. So I'm gonna put a drill chuck on the spindle and drill one 8mm hole through here. But of course, since the hole will be offset a little bit, I'm gonna reset the axis, and I still have error on the Z-axis. I actually have now the scale in my car, and it should be working now, but I still haven't found the time to put it on. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the offset. And the DRO is now showing 0 on both axes, so I'm gonna move the Y-axis 5mm to one side. Whoops. Okay, this should give me the correct position for the hole. Now let me change tools. 8mm drill bit made by Bosch actually. I don't think these are very good, but they should have some cobalt in them. And they look nice, of course. I have been using some of these for quite a while, and I think they are not as good as many other premium brand drills. Okay, about 800 RPM. Glass is on, and let me get some oil. I actually got now 3 of these, my favorite glasses. They are, the make is North, I think. Yes, here you can see the model, if you can see it. These are awesome. They look very small and pretty unprotective, but these fit on my face so well that I have never got a single chip in my eye with these glasses. I've had many other glasses much larger than these, but they tend to have a huge gap in here, and this is where most of the chips seem to come. And also these have a little bit of magnification, and I also like that. Okay, now let's start drilling. I will set the feed 100 minutes per revolution, I mean 100 millimeters per minute, and using the automatic feed. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're through. Okay, slowed down to 280 RPM, and now doing the countersink with a 15mm drill. Let's go. It's touching now. I know I should have a countersink drill, but I don't have any, so I'm just using this drill bit. What's bad about it is that the bottom of the hole will not be straight. It will have the same angle as the drill has. But here we have it, anyways. Okay, the pieces are now finished. I did a little bit of deburring on the holes. So, now I think let's take a minute to check the products if they are within tolerances. So let's start with the shaft diameter, which is 19.97. And the drawing says 20 and the upper tolerance is minus 100 and the lower tolerance is minus 300. So we are at minus 300, which is within tolerance. And actually the tolerance isn't the main thing here. The main thing is that the bearing fits correctly in the shaft, and it really does fit correctly. It's a little difficult to get it started, but when it goes in, it's just perfect. Perfect slide fit. Okay, and about the same thing with the cap. It's 200s on that, so that's pretty close. And of course, the main thing is, after all, that the whole assembly goes together nicely. And there must be some space between the shaft and the cap, of course, because the cap will tighten the bearings in place. The cap goes on, and we align the holes, which align perfectly actually, and we have an 8mm bolt which goes through just fine. So I would say that's a success. But this is like maybe one of the easiest parts. It took me maybe about 1.5 hours to complete from start to finish. But let me show you some other parts that I have to make. Just a minute. This one, for example, is a part with some more complexity. This is one of the parts that I'm gonna machine on the CNC mill. I could do this on my mill, but it's gonna be much easier and faster, and it's gonna be more accurate with the CNC mill. And of course, from this part also, I'm not gonna tell you what it is. The distance from here to here is 80mm, and I guess it's 60 from here to here. So I'm gonna have to make all of these parts, and let me tell you, there are over 20 parts. Some are very easy and some are extremely difficult to machine. But during this summer, this spring, I'm hoping to be able to complete all of those. So this was just a little starter for this project. Okay. So I guess I want to thank you again, and see you in the next part of the video.